have conflict. The definition is the expression by people who depend on each other of different views, interests, or goals, and the perception of different as incompatible or in opposition. Quoted from the glossary, J.T. Wood's Communication Mosaics. Okay, so the first one is A. So Black Lives Matter. The distinct problem with Black Lives Matter is in a society we don't look at the whole scenario. We have equal rights, but the percentage of African American crimes is higher than Caucasians. According to Wikipedia 2013, the percentage of murder arrests by race for Black or African American was 4,379 equals 51.38%, times as high than the general population. It's just a fact. In our social media, we have absolute consistent conflict with the NFL and Black Lives Matter. In my professional opinion, I feel that it is a total disgrace coming from being a Navy wife for 16 years and having that dedication to supporting our military personnel near and far, and listening to people express their conflicted opinions about whether or not our NFL players have the right to kneel at a game when our national anthem is sang in respect to our country and our nation, to which I truly believe. I feel wholeheartedly that if our very well-paid NFL players are paid in the amount of money they are earning, they should be standing and representing our nation, just like our actions as well as our military are held for their actions due to the professional behavior. With the same scenario as Black Lives Matter, that conflict that arose last year with the removal of Southern statues was completely incorrect in my personal view as an American white female. I truly think that establishing boundaries with our history that was so well known in the Civil War has been completely disrespected to what we teach in our schools. How does that look as representation to our children in our nation and world? How does this truly look to people in our world? To me, as an American white female, it embarrasses me because they are looking at the depth and real meaning of what these statues stand for with the history that comes along with them. Okay, so we have a lose-lose situation. Like I said, communication really falters in our society today, and I feel that there's a huge, even though people think that their communication skills are to a high standard, I feel that if we had more of an understanding of what real communication is, then I feel that our society would be on a better level. According to Julia T. Wood's Communication Mosaics, Chapter 7, page 138, lose-lose, one of the three orientation to conflict, assumes that everyone loses with conflict when conflict occurs. If we were to have WW3, the mass casualties that the world experience would be a really case of lose-lose. The world would never be the same as it is now, and we would be back to the dark ages because it would be a nuclear war that would destroy everything, and no one would win in that case. WW3 would be considered another lose-lose situation due to the effect of being a hate crime against our country. We are so disliked by other nations that we would have an issue in destroying our country. I believe that if we were to follow this path of mutual destruction, there would be negative results. You know, if you guys actually have questions, please answer while we're doing this. I think that would be okay too.
You want to answer or ask?
Oh, ask, sorry. If you guys literally have questions, it's okay to ask. It's okay. Okay, win-win. When everybody is in a situation where they have conflict and miscommunication and where everybody can come to a happy medium, it's a better situation even though one party may not think that it is. And according to Julia T. Wood's Communication Mosaics, Chapter 7, page 139, win-win. One of the three orientations to conflict assumes that every involved conflict can gain. One of an example I can think of for a win-win situation is the wild mustangs that roam our land in certain states. It's a win-win due to the fact that catching these beautiful creatures and taming them for adoption saves them from being slaughtered in warehouses and saves them from death out in the plains to where they can't find enough food and to water to survive. It's a resolution to where everyone is content with their decision to make this process work. They're committed to their own satisfaction as well as others. And we all know that with the wild Mustangs and how much of a conflict there is with the horses that go to Mexico and go to slaughterhouses. And these beautiful creatures, even though I know that there's a lot of Mustangs out in the wild that can't survive and that there's overpopulation, I understand that. But if we can catch these wild Mustangs and train them, break them, put them up for adoption, where we have, they're in the Department of Corrections, they have all kinds of programs where, they're trained, they're broken, they're put up for adoption, and which is an amazing program. So that definitely is a win-win situation. In my personal, professional perspective, having President Trump as our leader is a for sure definite win-win situation for our entire nation. He has proven himself over and over again as our nation's secure leader. Due to the words that he has represented in truth and holding himself accountable to what he is truly doing to improve our sentiment in the United States has helped with employment issues which still need attention. Yes, he is dedicating himself to making America a strong nation. He is truly representing himself and being a strong leader to the people. I know that everybody has their differences about Trump and everybody has their different opinions, and there's never going to be a win-win situation with how everybody feels about President Trump. And there's always going to be conflict with our president and our nation's leader. And it can also relate into communication standards with our Congress and the presidential campaign and everything that goes along with it. We all have our personal opinion, and in the communication stance, we all have to respect each other's opinion, and our communications conflict, win-win, lose-lose. It all really goes together in the same category.
Okay.
Mediator. Okay. Quoted from Julia T. Wood's Communication Mosaics, Chapter 7, page 141. A mediator is an outside third party who facilitates discussions between two or more parties who are in conflict but who does not have the power to make a decision. So the South Korea leader played a vital role in the escalation of the nuclear arms race with North Korea. He provided a mediator position between North Korea and the United States. He was the first president that ever met with South and North Korea at the same time. President Trump greatly proved himself with this delicate matter to which people in our nation didn't think he had any business in dealing with these issues, standing that he was putting our nation in harm's way. The South Korean leader created an agenda with rules and regulations that arbitrarily maintained a good communication climate in the discussions. Do you know what communication climate is?
Explain it to us.
Communication climate, and forgive me, Professor Ramo, but communication climate is, it's all bunched together with, like I picked the conflict and arbitrator, and I'm not too sure about that. I should have brought my book, sorry. But it's all in relation to it's all in relation to communication and the climate, where we have communication all over, and if I'm wrong, John, please forgive me, but that's, to my understanding, where in a climate in our world, it's a climate together.
So are you saying that the basis or the crux of conflict is poor communication?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah.
Are you saying that the reason for conflict is miscommunication, poor communication?
Yes, and poor leadership skills does go with that. And I am a Trump supporter. I do stand for what I believe in, but there are some things with Trump that I don't agree with. There are things that he could have handled better. He's very free with his verbal skills. But if we have such a poor communication breakdown in our world, in our nation, our society. I mean, in media, and it goes as little as like a boarding facility or working at a job or. You know, and I learned a lot in this class with reading the chapters and, you know, learning from my other classmates, is that we rely so much on social media and communication and the poor words, and people hide behind social media, you know, as little as, you know, breaking up with somebody on social media and not being able to verbally and physically confront that person. And the thing is that with communication skills verbally, people have a tendency to kind of skirt around what is really truly on their mind sometimes. It's, go ahead.
I was gonna say, don't you find it ironic that the methods of communication are so much more now? There's not only just face-to-face, there's radio, television, all the different social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Why would there be, don't you find that kind of ironic that with all these methods of communication, so many avenues of communication, getting the word out there and so quickly, that there's a problem with communication?
Oh, there is. There's definitely a problem with the communication, with how much we have available to us. And one of the things that I think, if I'm correct, I think one of the things is that if our society did not have the forms of communication that we have now with social media and like Snapchat and Facebook and Twitter and all that, I believe truly, as a true statement, I would think that our